Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Sara Wiseman. Today we're going to work on our April 2025 channeled forecast. And these messages are from the StarGuides, which are new guides, relatively new guides for me. They've just started in putting these out in 2025, although these were channeled back in November 2024. So just to kind of give you an idea of, these are done a bit ahead of time, and I think that's fun because it helps us notice upcoming events and see how we know things ahead of time always. So the star guides are, I've been channeling for many years, many decades actually, and I've received a variety of guides over that time. I have, I don't know if it's a unique ability, but I have an ability to receive from different entities or different guides. And so this has been kind of interesting to have different beings come through over the years. So beginning, I had Constance, Miriam, and Gabriel in the 33 lessons. And then I had sort of some light beings, potentially Pleiadian-ish, for 4 passages of the heart. And then I created all of the coursework through Merlin, which was fascinating. That wasn't so much of a channeling as like a training for me. Here's how you do everything in spiritual intuition. And then back to Gabriel. I feel like I'm missing somebody. And now the star guides, who are definitely proclaiming, identifying as extraterrestrial, as being not from Earth. And I would say that actually all of the other guides probably are also non-human, non-departed, not from Earth, but they've never proclaimed it in this specific way, as in, we have come to Earth, to the planet, in order to assist you. And especially as, at the time of this recording, we've just been in the LA fires. Just so many things are really, really, really rough in the world. And so I really like this particular message for April 2025. The Star Guide messages, we are helpers to humanity. The Star Guide Messages book is out now on Amazon and on my website, sarawiseman.com, if you want to dive into some of that channeled writing. Okay, let's just get into the message. We are helpers to humanity. Our role as symbiotic helpers, is as follows. We are interested in assisting humans to expand to the next level, and in fact, this is a task or a responsibility for us. The expansion of humans creates more possibilities in interstellar connection, and this creates more possibility for you and for us. So in this way, you may say, we are working now to benefit the future, which is really a new dimension. The future is not a time, it is a dimension. Your expanded understanding is also a dimension. We are working with you now to assist in your elevation so that you may continue more in the future. We are here to plant seeds, which are ideas and concepts which will help humans come out of the recent ages of greed and distraction, of power and self-absorption, of the misguided idea that humans are at the top of the pyramid of importance. We are here to help plant the seeds of oneness and interconnection so that you will be able to go further with less suffering. If you are not able to integrate these new ideas, there will be a lot of pain And in fact, we say there is much pain already, and you likely feel it, especially those of you who are sensitive to the energies. Most of you reading or listening now are deeply aware of the suffering of all humans and all beings, and this affects you daily. So our symbiosis, our gift to you, is the seed of understanding, and we are planting this seed of understanding right now. It is the great planting time. We are planting this seed of understanding into as many of you as have the ground ready for us. The seed falls on fertile ground. Many of you are ready. Many of you are listening. The seed is being planted. The seed is of understanding and of new ways of understanding. And really, you do not have to do anything different except notice that your understanding is shifting. Notice that your experience is shifting and be with this new experience. Don't fight, don't distract, don't resist. It's always happening. You are listening, you are absorbing. The seed has been planted and now it is growing within each of you. And this is the seed of a new understanding. We also say, you know that many of you have been receiving us and this is a surprise to you. Yes, we are activating you. You are being activated. We are symbiotic. No, we are symbiotic in that we are here at this moment in the world's chain of events, in the world's history. This is the time that seeds are being planted. Do not be alarmed. We are not implanting mind chips. Ha ha. This is not thought control. This is an exposure to the reality of how things really are. It is a dropping of the veils of illusion, the dominant culture, political, cult, religion, science, medicine, business, of all the ways you've been taught. And all of this drops away as you become aware of a new way of understanding your experience. And this is what we have planted. The idea of a new awareness, not just in one of you, not just for the chosen few, of which there is no such thing, but in all of you. You are symbiotic to us because we are able to feel through your heart, and we are able to gauge the level of understanding that is arriving onto the planet and actually in the galaxies by how we sense you. Your heart is a meter of the great consciousness, a barometer of sorts. We are in spirit form. We do not have hearts anymore, and so we need a way to gauge how the expansion is taking hold in beings on your awareness level, what more seeds may be planted, and how quickly we can assist you in your expansion without overwhelming your systems. We do not control you. We are only messengers of hope, providers of a less painful way for all of you to live. We are here to plant seeds that allow you to alleviate suffering, which is a great problem for humans. We rely on your expression of emotion and feeling through the heart, and this is a way that we can see what we are unable to see on our own. We do not control you. You might consider us as transmitters or activators, beings of higher understanding who impart this higher understanding to you by our presence and by our communication. In the past, you might have worked with gurus or holy ones. There are not enough humans at this level now to reach enough of you. There are humans with tremendous understanding, but they are already serving and reaching those who they serve and reach. The call for more is here. There is an urgency now. We are here to assist in the elevation. When you are in contact with us, which happens in your dreams, in meditation, and now also in your daydreams and in your general awareness, you are being activated. We have said before, levity trumps gravity. Also, the level of understanding always rises to the highest in the room. So we at this moment are the highest in the room. Ha! When you are around us, the veils of illusion drop off and you can jump to a new level very quickly. We can only go so quickly, too fast, and you tend to burn out. Your circuits fry, you might say. So it is a tender and careful exposure, gauging who we can bring along the fastest, who will take more time. With all change in understanding, there is discomfort. Dropping the veils of illusion is not a painless task. There is sorrow, there is confusion, there is grief. So we must go slowly enough so that you will be lifted up without too much confusion and without too much pain. It is a birthing, is it not? It is a moving from one known and familiar environment in the light of new life, and here we are. You leave behind who you were, being in gestation, and begin the human life. Of course, you are born already. We are referring to the new birth into the new understanding. It is quite a jolt to the system. We are not speaking of religion. We do not work in religion. Those are human beliefs, very old, something for the history books. We are discussing the understanding of you at a consciousness level that does not work with religion, dogma, tradition. The new understanding is experiential. It is your experience in every moment as a part of consciousness. There is no top down, there is no big God. There is everything in total awareness all at once, which is the universe. Again, this is a step forward in your understanding. The old rules do not apply. So we are helping each other. We are providing you with the seed of a new consciousness, which is a new thought system for you. And you are providing us with a way of feeling through the heart, which is something we cannot access any longer on our own. We are helping you remember your soul, which is consciousness in infinite expansion. And you are helping us remember our heart, which is feeling as a frequency. So we are symbiotic to each other, providing the part we cannot easily access on our own. We are, of course, helping other species on Earth and on other planets. Some of you already help other species on Earth. Later, when you are star travelers, you will help other species on other planets too. The universe is filled with helpers and is a much less dark and dangerous place than you have been led to believe. By the time humans expand enough to travel to the stars, they will have left behind the lower levels of greed and power hunger for the most part. Star travel requires an evolutionary step, and this step is toward expansion and wonder. It is a step that requires a new kind of fearlessness and a new kind of humility, and you will get there too. So this is the April channeling 2025 from the StarGuides. If you would like to get the text for this, you can go to the website sarawiseman.com. It's going to be under the blogs. If you would like to get the full book, it's on Amazon as Kindle or as paperback. And I think what I find is that when I I'm just like I'm a normal person. I am a and I am a psychic. I can do all the psychic skills. It's easy for me. Those are some of the things I can do, right? Some of the regular life stuff is not so easy for me, like most of it. But the channeling is interesting because when a piece of channeling comes through like this chunk of channeling, most likely came in one sitting. So it's, from what I'm looking at, it's like about six pages. So about, I don't know, probably 2,000 words or so. And when the channeling comes in, I have the experience of being so uplifted and so hopeful, and this feeling of absolute comfort that at the very least, even though my own life is confused, and maybe your life is confused, and so obviously we are in the midst of such a dramatic and painful bringing down of all the old structures. Like, yes, it's fantastic that the old structures are coming down, and it's also fairly terrifying because what will the new structures look like? What will that, how will our lives change? And this sense of being without grounding, or without the secure known. And so what do we do from there? One thing I think is interesting about, well, it's interesting these latest, so again, this was recorded in November 2024. I'm recording this now in January 2025, this particular commentary. So in January 2025, we're in the midst of the LA fires, and we also have so much tragedy in the Middle East and in Ukraine, just to name a few things that are happening. And all of these speak to, and I know I'm not getting everything, but just adding those in, and then the ones that I'm missing, I'm aware that I'm missing them. This big idea of old structures tumbling. So the way we used to run our lives, maybe even not just the big things, the banking, the politics, the big patriarchal systems that have been running things for quite some time, but even our own comforts. We get up, we go get our mail, maybe we go get a coffee somewhere in the morning, or we have our coffee at home. Just our little habits that create this life, and so it creates this illusion of stability and sameness. We do our habitual things, we count on them to get us through the swirling energy of everything, and then those get taken away, and suddenly, who are we? We not only lose all of our habits and all of our ways we orient ourselves in the world, but from that comes complete loss of identity. So I don't have a clear understanding of why these different particular places in the world, these hot spots, are being focused on. But I do know that in those areas, loss of the identity of for those people who were there, and now they can't return. And this intense migration of many people from climate, from war, from politics, with immigration, spreading all around the world, looking for what they're seeking, with this new awareness that what they had is no longer available to them. You can't go back. Isn't that like the Wizard of Oz? Like, Wizard of Oz says you can always go home, but in reality, you can't really go back to how things were before. A home is something you have to hold in your heart. Last thing about this, this idea of the star guides being helpers to humanity, and they're needing us. We need them, or they need us, because they need to help us elevate our understanding so that other things will happen. So humans' consciousness adds to the awakening of everything in the universe. Everything in the universe is conscious, but not all consciousness is aware of its consciousness. So bringing that there. And then this other idea that they need us because they can no longer sense at the heart level. They're well beyond the heart level. And so our feeling state is a barometer or a gauge for how the awareness is lifting. Like when they look at us, they judge by our heart reaction. And, these guides have said so many times before, the heart is where the soul resides. So as we feel with empathy, compassion, love, as we suffer, as we change, all of this happens through our emotional heart. And as we sort of crack open our heart, through the 4 levels, which are discussed in a different channeling, but the 4 levels are pain, compassion, connection, and love, right? So as we crack through each to the higher level of awareness, the higher level of consciousness, so by the star guides sensing our hearts, they can sort of see, well, where are they? Are they still in pain? That's where most of the world has been for a very long time. Have they cracked open into compassion? I would say that world events, it would be hard to be a conscious human and not have massive compassion for everything at this time. If you don't have that level of compassion, especially like if you're watching this, if you've watched this to this point and you're still like skeptical, like, channeling is, dumb, like it's made up. Just like, okay. So I would just check the pain in your heart, like this inability to open up to something bigger, Anyway, that's just what I find when the trolls come at me. I'm just like, oh, these people are suffering so much. It's just really hard. And then my own compassion gets more, and so at least there's that as the reaction. Anyway, I'm rambling. So next time, come sign up for the subscribe to the podcast, whether you're doing video on YouTube or you're doing on all the audio streams. Go to the website, get the text, and just see what you think. We do a different channel forecast every month, and then we have our weekly teachings on those same streams that I just mentioned. And those just talk about different aspects of how to get through life as a spiritual being. There's we don't do dogma, we don't do religion, we don't do rules and regulations. We're just sort of opening up to this idea of consciousness and how that begins to change everything for all of us. Okay, thank you, and I will be with you guys next time, and you'll find me at sarawiseman.com. Thanks.